What's going on, everybody? My name is Jason. I work at All Out Bikes in Four Oaks, North Carolina, and every day for the month of December, I'm going to be pulling bikes out from my personal collection. They're going to be collectible bikes, they're going to be rare bikes, or just plain unique. So be sure to subscribe to see what comes next. Well, today's bike of the day is this super rare 1980 Kuwahara. Now, this bike is the very first BMX bike Kuwahara ever started. And whenever I say first bike, I mean the first model. They started making this in late 1979, and early 1980 they still were making them. This one is at the early 1980. Before they found out that the single gusset in the front of the bike was not enough, because they had a couple of frames that already broke, and they stopped making them. And the very second model that they did had two gussets on there, which reinforced it quite a bit. This is a very nice example. It is complete. Everything's original except for the left crank arm and the tires, obviously. This one right here is a very rare example. You do not find these Kuwaharas. They actually call these the Kuwahara, or a KE1. Now, the KE1 is actually a model that was given to this bike after it had already been made and discontinued. Just that's what people have dubbed this one. But this is a beautiful example. It's got Suntour components on it. It's got Suntour hubs, Suntour cranks. Actually, let me make sure about the Suntour hubs. Yep, Suntour hubs. Suntour stem. It's got some nice V-bars here. It does have the Diacomp MX1000 brake in gold. It is the original brake. Everything on this is original except for the left crank arm and the tires. Everything else is original. But really, really great bike, and I'm lucky to have it. The way I got this was around 2015. A family came in and asked us if we would be interested in checking out their parents' bike shop. And I was thinking, heck yeah. And they were like, oh, it's in his garage in his backyard. So then I was kind of like, oh, well, yeah, that'd be cool. Well, they left me their phone number, and the old man, you could see the old man, we had to get him a stool because he couldn't stand for very long. But whenever he was inside the shop, his eyes were just glowing, looking around at all the bikes and stuff. You could tell that he had a real passion for bikes. Well, they left, and unfortunately, I lost their phone number. So a couple months went by, and they ended up coming back by and asked me if I was interested in coming by, and I was like, yes, absolutely. I just lost your phone number. So everything was kind of settled. They gave me the address. I drove about 45 minutes to their house, and I was a little bit disappointed in the beginning because they said bike shop, but then they were like, it's in his garage in the backyard. So I was thinking, oh, this is just not going to be much. I showed up, and this was a big garage, and it was laid out like a bike shop. There was a repair stand, there were tools, there were parts galore. Mr. Love, I just remembered that. Their last name was Love, and actually, with a lot of the parts, we still have some, but anytime we had it in the computer, we would have such and such, love. So, actually most of it was love such and such, because we had uh, love derailleur and love cable. Um, we had to be careful about the love tubes that we had of his, but that shop was so well organized. I had so much fun going through it. Well, they had gotten some estimates on cleaning the garage out, because since I lost their phone number, they were like, well, obviously he's not interested. So they got some estimates, and companies were telling them that it was going to cost them $600 to clean out that garage when they came back to me to make sure that I was interested. So whenever I went there, they were like, make us an offer. And at the time, I hadn't been open for very long, and I was like, I really don't have much money. And they were like, just make us an offer. And I was like, I really don't have much to offer. And they were like, well, give us $200 and take it all. And I was like, are you sure? And they were like, yes, absolutely. So I was like, here, $200. And I started cleaning out the shop. I had to make 3 runs with my truck to clear out that spot. Now, most of it was junk. There were Huffies, there were Murrays. It just wasn't that great, but lots of derailleurs, front derailleurs, rear derailleurs, cables, all brand new in the packaging, and some of the stuff had been discontinued. You couldn't even get it anymore. So I took that to the shop, and I was very happy with what I got. I did another run. We grabbed tubes and stuff, and somehow the tubes were in such good shape. I used them on some of my used bikes and such. I didn't sell any because I was worried about them being old, but amazingly, they were in great shape. Now, the third run I went up there, I was getting some of the some tools. He didn't have a ton of tools because they kept a lot of the tools, but he had a bicycle repair stand, and I asked them, if that was part of the deal, and they said no. And I was like, well, how much do you want for it? And they were like, give us $100. So I gave them $100 for the old Park Tool repair stand. It's the very first generation repair stand, which is really cool. There were a pile of bikes that all I saw were Huffies and Murrays and such on there, and I was leaving that junk pile last. So I was loading up these junk bikes, and on the very bottom was this Kuwahara. And whenever I first saw it, I was like, ugh. Although I didn't know how rare this one was, I was just thinking, oh, it's a Kuwahara. But I could tell it was kind of special. So I loaded it up carefully, and that was the last day. So I brought it back here, and that's whenever I started doing my research, and I was like, holy cow. But that's how we got this bike. So that's the bike of the day. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, leave us a big thumbs up. Be sure to check some other videos on the corner of the screen. Don't forget to tell your friends, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.